Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long while, but today we're back for a really special occasion because we reached 1,000 subscribers on this very YouTube channel, and I'm just so thankful for every one of you. And today I thought it would be a great idea to have like a chat between you and me. And so earlier, a month or a week ago, I posted on Instagram asking if you have some questions for me, whether it's personal, whether it's about architecture, internship, etc., etc. So I've gathered some questions today, and I thought it will be a nice chat video. This is a very exciting time because as I'm recording this video for the celebration of reaching 1,000 subscribers, I've also received my first sponsor, and it is from none other than the Oodie. I've been a fan of the Oodie for a long time because it's just so fluffy. I really like this texture, and because winter is coming and I just want to be really warm, and with inflation so high and with energy bills so high, sometimes us Gen Z just can't afford to turn on the heating. And so I think this is like the perfect solution to stay cozy, to stay warm without breaking your wallet. So if you're interested in getting an Oodie for yourself, there is a link in the description, and go grab one now. So without further ado, let's dive right into the questions. I have all the questions on my iPad and I'm gonna read it out and then I'm gonna answer them. So the first one that I have received is, I'm currently an MSA first year student. My tutor told me that my scale is too big. What should I do? First of all, congratulations on getting into your first year of architecture. That's a massive achievement. It's really competitive. It's really tough as well. So you gotta give yourself a pat on the back. With regards to what your tutor said, that your scale is too big, I'm assuming it's something to do with the scale of your building. So maybe the brief is asking for a much smaller installation and maybe you design something really big, or vice versa. So maybe just check the brief, what area it's asking for, what size of the architecture it should be before designing something. Second question I've received is, I'm an architecture student from India. I have my internship from next semester, January. Need guidance. Again, congratulations on getting an internship because I think it's really hard to get an internship, at least according to my experience in the UK, because I think they will hire part 1 or part 2 architectural assistants unless you're really good, you get recommendations from like tutors, or you're really determined and kept on sending CVs, etc. It's really hard to land an architectural internship in the UK. I am really lucky I managed to land one when I was back in Macau because I went back during COVID and I managed to do like 1 month internship. I learned a lot of skills like software skills, and I talked to architects, etc, etc. I think very useful advice would be to be really proactive because people there have been working in the industry for a really long time. So if you ask them more questions, they can give you more advice, and it's also really valuable advice. Bring a notebook with you wherever you go so you can jot down notes and things that you find valuable and you won't forget. And most of all, have fun. So question number 3 is, you're famous now, what do you feel? First of all, I don't feel famous in any way, but I feel really happy because I have received some comments or feedback from people who've watched my videos about Manchester School of Architecture or about university accommodation, and they found that really useful and really informative, and I just felt so happy to be able to help, because when I was applying to architecture, applying to uni, like these kind of information was the kind of information that I hoped I had access to, or like I hoped that I would be able to read about or watch a video about. And I just thought it would be really useful for prospective students or for people to know more about the course, about the industry in general, before making that important decision of choosing a uni or choosing like a course or an industry. So I just feel really happy that people find my videos helpful. Question number 4 is, can you talk about job hunting, please? It's so hard to find. I actually did like a really detailed video documenting my whole job hunting process this year. It documents both the highlights, like the happy part of receiving an offer, but also in detail the low parts about getting ghosted, sending tons of applications, getting rejected, and then my confidence taking a massive hit, and then doubting my own ability, etc. This job market is really competitive, I think, especially after COVID, and I think it's really hard to find a job these days. So it is actually much more competitive than I think in previous years, because a lot of firms maybe are trying to downsize, maybe they're not even hiring new people, or maybe they're even firing people, so it's even harder to actually land a job. And I just feel like this is the trend that it's gonna be in the future. So I think it's best to really equip yourself with more skills to prepare yourself for this really competitive job market. Next question I have is things you miss the most about Manchester. So I have actually just been back to Manchester 2 weeks ago for traveling with my family, and I just realized it has changed quite a lot, because when I was in Manchester it was still like at the end of like the COVID era and things were still relatively quiet, but now everything's so open. And I went like during Halloween and everyone was out there partying. It's just a totally amazing vibe. I miss uni, I miss my friends in Manchester, I miss the restaurants in Manchester. They have some amazing restaurants, and I like the convenience in Manchester, because prior I lived for a year in a small town and transportation is not that great, and I just missed how everything's quite accessible in Manchester, and I like that the most, which I also do get that in Birmingham, and so I do like that about Birmingham too. Next question we have is, how is the job market in UK currently for architects? Also, can you discuss salary margins? So like I previously said, I think the job market is really competitive, even more so than before, because when I was applying to jobs on LinkedIn, there are just like a few vacancies, and then there are like hundreds of applicants. Some are even at like thousands of applicants, and it's just been posted like a day or two, and I just find that so scary, because the amount of people applying to just one position is insane. About the salary margin, I think that there is a standard according to REBA, but it's not something that firms actually adhere to. I think when you're an architect, you have better salaries than compared to Part 1 or Part 2 architectural assistants. I can't speak for positions beyond Part 1 architectural assistants, because I have had that experience or have that wage yet, but as a Part 1 architectural assistant, I do think that they should adjust it a bit more, especially with big firms and in big cities, because the rent in cities is like so high, and with the massive inflation, I do think they should adjust a bit more to accommodate Part 1 architectural assistants to kind of step into the society. I know REBA might be doing something about that, but I think it will still take a long time for it to be implemented. Next question we have, are you planning to go back to Macau soon? So I just went back this year in January, which is, well, not a long time ago for me. It's 10 months, but to some it may be a really long time. I don't plan on going back to Macau anytime soon, because if I were to go back during December, the flight tickets are insanely expensive. I don't really have a lot of holidays left, and I don't think it would be a wise decision for me to go back again until next year, where I think I will go back during December, because I just received some really massive news that one of my friends has secured a date for her special day, so I'll definitely go back and attend her special day, of course, but until then I don't have any plans on going back to Macau. Question, I don't know the number, but next question is, how did you feel in BA1 during your first projects? Oh my god, I remember feeling so bad about myself, like I know nothing about architecture, and some people have already been studying maybe a foundation year in architecture, and they have like some knowledge about how to put a portfolio together, some software skills, and I'm just like, what is going on? I was so confused. I didn't even know the difference between a plan and a section, so I was like starting from scratch, and I just felt so dumb. But then I just tried to adjust my mindset, like this is a learning opportunity and just need to work hard, and then you're gonna make it. And I did graduate, so I would say that advice is pretty good. Next question we have is, how would an international young architect land an internship in the UK, and can I live off of it. So like I said previously, I think internships are really hard to land in the UK for architecture because they don't actively promote it, and I think a lot of people would also prefer resting during the summer holidays after the really intense academic year, as you know, like all-nighters, presentations, reviews, etc., etc. But if you do manage to land an internship, congratulations. I think it's a really hard thing to land, so if you do, massive congratulations. But also beware that a lot of internships are actually unpaid, and the one that I did is also unpaid back in Macau. But because when I was doing my internship, I kind of prioritized wanting to get exposure, insight into the industry, etc., and getting paid was not my priority, so I was willing to let it go. But I would not recommend it for everyone, and I don't really recommend it to anyone because I think there is value in the work that you do, and they should at least offer you minimum wage. So if they were to offer you minimum wage, it depends on how many hours you're working. Is it like a full-time internship? Is it like a part-time internship? Then you can kind of calculate it from there and see if you can live off it. Next question. Any idea how an international young architect could finance a master's in the UK? So I think this is a really tough one because I don't think I have a really good idea of all the finance and student loans, etc., etc. Especially don't know if they really have these kind of finance in place for international students. If you're like a homeland student, they might have more kind of finance oriented kind of bursaries or scholarships for you, but international wise I think it's harder. You can look at international scholarships or bursaries, and sometimes different universities offer scholarships specifically for international students. It might not be a big amount, but it can actually help out a bit. I think the most reliable way is working part-time and getting a job. That way you can fund yourself more reliably, and even if there are not scholarships available, you can still be able to pay your bills. Next question. Was it hard finding a job after uni? Oh yeah, it was. I did not document the process of me trying to find a job after uni, although I did document the one this year that I was looking for, like a transition from one job to another. But it was also really hard. I sent out tons of applications and I spent ages trying to put together my portfolio, my CV, and I wanted to do it earlier to be able to secure a job before I graduate so I can plan my time accordingly. So I was actually juggling a lot of stuff at the same time, and it was really hard. Just thinking about it makes me stress right now. It's a really competitive job market, but I think just don't give up, keep on sending CVs, keep on amending your portfolio if you gain some feedback from different architects or tutors. I think the main key is don't give up, because a lot of times whether you land a job or you find a vacancy is really down to luck. So if you just keep applying, keep looking, you will land a job one day. Next question, we have Macau or UK. I think this is a really tricky question because I like both places. Currently, just judging from a really shallow and really immature point of view, I would say the UK, purely because I have 2 concerts to go to next year, like the 1975 and Taylor Swift. And if I were in Macau, I am 100% sure they will not come to Macau. And so I would want to stay in the UK for that duration to be able to watch the concerts. So let's just settle at that. Currently, it's the UK, but I do love Macau because I was born and raised there. And that's it. That's all the questions. I think it's a good balance between personal questions and architectural questions. And yeah, this is the end of the video, but all jokes aside, I'm just so thankful for all of your support, for all of you, every single one of you, whether if you just like liked one video or if you just watched 1 minute. I'm just so thankful. Because of you, this channel has officially reached 1,000 subscribers. Because of you, you made it happen. So I'm just so thankful for all of you. I hope you stick around. As Christmas is coming really soon, me and my friend are actually on to a little secret project, and if you're interested, do stay tuned. And if you want to have a guess of what it is about, you can also type it up in the comment section and let me know. Alright, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in the next video.